being told off, firstly, and I'm being told that we've got to go and do a bit of rugby. So let's just jump in with the incredible rugby that was over the weekend. Let's talk about England, South Africa, and Marcus Smith keeping his nerve to land a last gasp penalty and giving England the win. It was an enthralling game at Twickenham. Matt, an amazing match, could have gone either way. How impressed were you by England?
I think it was good. The way they played, their ability to stop the set piece early on was impressive. Getting over the gain line, I thought, the Springboks came back and did the same thing to them throughout. It was one of those games that was just this arm wrestle, but it was beautiful to watch. Back and forth across the pitch, you just saw this fight for the gain line, and that kind of rugby, relatively high scoring for a test match, or at least there was some great open play. So yeah, it was great to see, and I was ecstatic, because I've been taking a lot of shit the last month or so.
As Matt just touched upon, Max, a lot of the talk in the build-up, the dominance of the box forwards, the bomb boys, bomb squad, and set pieces, but they did come off worse in the early exchanges before reasserting themselves. Were you a bit surprised?
I thought there was some skullduggery at play. I think England had a plan, because when the scrum actually did engage, you could see that the power that was being exerted by the box was sort of a little bit overwhelming. But I think they played the rules well. They had some kind of they were sort of bullfighting a bit, trying to make sure that the lean was really well managed by the ref. So what happened in that case is that there were some decisions given the other way, it was really well managed by the England front row, given the inexperience of Lamar and Bevan Rodden there against Ox and Benimbi and Trevor and Kanye. It was a hell of a performance, absolutely. Tempered them well.
As forwards, do you not try and do that as sort of props? You're doing that in every game that you're in. Like, how did England manage to do it, even though they are so raw compared to their illustrious opposites?
Well, I think it was more of a conscious thing. Like, most of the time when you're going into a scrum, you're sort of like, you're still, well, in terms of how we play, you're going in for that big lean. You're trying to overwhelm them on the bind, get forward, win that 6 inches on the hit. Whereas I felt that England was sort of playing a little bit coy. They were trying to manage that space, that gap, to make sure that the South Africa back, like type 5, couldn't load up so much on the bind. And it just made it more of a technical sort of competition rather than just an all-out Mong fest, which they're so kind of good at.
Mark was completely confused.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Well, Matt, enlighten me more.
Boring in, get a good lean, get a good grip. Some of the shit us Lucy's tell you boys to do. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, make sure you get a good grip. Mark's just like, what's going on there?
You remember when there was that period where people wouldn't attack the line out drive, and it perplexed people. Yeah.
And you'd wait for them to go round. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's that kind of strategy going into the game. They're the best front row in the world, like scrummaging front row in the world. And they've got two front row. They've got two international front rows, one coming on after the other. So, and England have a good front row, and they knew that they couldn't meet them head on in that particular part of the field, and they got the Springboks to overplay their hand. So and listen, they came back and they were strong later, but any little in a test match, any win you can get, if it's one scrum, that's a huge thing. So I think if they could get them kind of like edgy in the beginning, and then hold their own at the end, which they pretty much did do. They won that particular battle.
Yeah, did you see Sinclair giving that sort of knowing grin to Ox and stuff? I was enjoying it so much. I was like, he's playing him, man. He's playing him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where Kyle's like, he's obviously like picked up this experience now of, you know, it's not just about, you know, it's not just about brute force. It's it's about playing that game within a game. So, and that is what that part of, and it's what Ryan loves so much about rugby, you know, that game within a game. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why he's a scrum half.
Yeah. The finesse. Yeah.
Let's move from the forward to the backs a bit, and Tuilagi finishing off a wonderful move for England, but then going off injured shortly afterwards with his injury problems coming up all the time. Ryan, would you carry on with him in the centres for England, or was it perhaps worth prioritising someone else?
No, I like this poor bloke. He's always injured. He's like a fine-tuned racehorse. That's the problem. A slightly larger one, but he's been so unlucky, hasn't he? But I think he's class. Like, he's the exact sort of centre I would always want, just to bash it up. But he's pretty nimble as well, isn't he? So yeah, gutted for him. Some try, but yeah, to see him go off again, you just think, geez, it's not another one. So I don't know. Do we know what it was?
Tweaked a hand.
No, I don't. I think Ryan, to your point, there's. I mean, obviously, spent a lot of time playing with Manu. It was also like having a second enforcer on the pitch, because he was this. Because he's so dynamic, so powerful. He's got this, you know, beast strength about him that he's quite scary. You know, I remember him coming into I was already like, you know, 10 or 12 caps into playing for England, and he came in, and you know, he commanded a lot of presence. I mean, from those Leicester games that he played in early on in his career, I mean, he absolutely dominated the Premiership at that time. And then he was this presence for England, and he has been plagued by injuries, and he's been plagued by a little bit of controversy, but I would still pick him every time, and I agree with you on that, Ryan.
Yeah,
so bloody lootly. Yeah.
Well, it's what Jack Noel as well said on the pod a couple of weeks ago. Whatever, you know, strap him up and whatever, just get him out there regardless. But Ryan, how impressed have you been by Henry Slade though this series?
Yeah, again, silk, isn't he? He's just like a smooth-looking fella. But again, you've got that option of his boot as well. You know, if you've got a player that can kick, you've got two either side of that scrum. You've got two people being able to put it in. With all this new stuff with the 50-22s and all that stuff going on now, you need another set of feet to put the ball in behind. So he's been good at that. But again, just his running lines, the way he attacks the line, him matched with someone like Manu Tuilagi. Owen Farrell, who's that? They don't need him anymore. Do they?
You love Faz, don't you?
Kick him while he's down, eh?
Best
kick
mate,
him while
Faz.
He's down.
Well, actually, Matt, thoughts on that with England looking so dangerous in attack since Ryan's best friend Farrell's absence? If he was back fully fit, would he make your starting 15?
Oh, thanks, mate. Max, you want to answer
that? That is a loaded one, isn't it? Oh, that's difficult. That's so hard. It depends what you're going for. Thing with Slade, yeah, I'm with you. It's tough. I think if Manu's fit and Slade are fit, Marcus Smith offers a more positive sort of brand of rugby. But man, it's hard to get away from Faz. We're talking about like he's won everything except the sort of the World Cup. Like he's the man. He's achieved so much so far, and I think he brings a lot to that culture as well. Like. I'm so on the fence on this, guys, as well. But I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Yeah. No, sure. And I think you're right on that point. Aha, Rob.
Hello, Matty. How are you, buddy? Are you well?
Good, mate. How are you?
Sorry for interrupting that very, very important.
Thank fuck for your segue.
You came in at the right time, Con. You came in at the right time.
Honestly, Rob. It's always been a dream to be on this show.
All right, Rob, tell me.
What's it called again?
Piss off, man. Oh,
no, Rob, Faz or Marcus Smith, go.
I'd play Marcus at 10, Faz at 12.
Oh, but you'd definitely have Faz in the team, in the starting lineup. Yeah, okay. Well, there we go, ladies and gents. There we go.
go.
There's a man who knows his.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. He knows his.
You know, legend of the game. He's called it. We don't actually have to make a decision. We can sit on the fence and it's fine. So, and this is the brains trust of rugby here.
My favorite place ever talking about rugby or analysing it is right on top of the fence, never putting one leg either side into the ditch. It's the only place to be, on the fence.
Very smart man. Very smart man.
Absolutely. You're looking good, Rob.
As are you. This roomie is trying to wear me down. I've had some bad roomies in my time, but holy Christ.
Mate, come on.
You're a pig.
Drop me out. Listen, are you anyone that rooms you must think is a pig. I've never ever seen such a neat person in my life.
Great chatting to you, fellas.
Great to chat to you, Rob.
Cheers,
It's been a pleasure, Rob.
Love you, man. Love you, man.
That was outstanding, Rob.